Welcome to video 3 of the Teacher Development Series. You're almost done with this module. Well done. In this video, we will explore some effective strategies for giving feedback to teachers. We have collected all the information required, spent time preparing our thoughts, and now it's time to have the feedback conversation. The most important thing to remember is to go into these conversations with an open mind. We should treat this as a process of co creation. Even though we are going in with the theory of what can improve, we should always be ready to change our minds based on what we find out in the conversation. Let's look at some strategies that can help us have an effective conversation. Listen first. Find out what the teacher thinks they did well and what can be improved. Focus on student learning. This is the most important thing in a lesson. Teaching is just the means by which we achieve this. Our conversation should always center around how well the students understood what we were trying to teach. Be specific. Focus on what you saw and heard, the evidence. Give example from your notes. Discuss what improvement will look like. The last thing we need to do to close the conversation is to come up with the next steps. What will the teacher need to do and by when? What do you need to do to support them by when? It's also helpful to share with them when will you visit their class again to check on the improvements. Remember this example? Here are the next steps.
Few things will always come in mind before you give feedback to a teacher. One is the preparedness of the teacher to receive the feedback. In the institution, is there a feedback culture so that the teachers in the school know that we will always get feedback? If it's not a culture, it is misunderstood. When you want to give feedback, then be conscious about the surrounding, the environment. Feedback given in public is not effective as feedback given in private. A teacher would be very happy to listen to feedback when it is me and the teacher sitting somewhere in an enclosed area. So there's a lot of privacy. When it is done in public, then the teacher may feel offended. Apart from that, there should be good relationship between you, the school leader, and the person going to receive the feedback. If teachers have no working relationship with the school leaders, when they are sitting now to get feedback, then you can be sure it may not go well. They will be looking at this teacher who is oppressive, the teacher the school leader is looking for mistakes. So if there is good relationship, what is called good rapport, then the feedback will be effective. I would also put in mind how the feedback is given. It is always important to allow the teacher to reflect on the practice, to reflect on the process, to reflect on what she was doing. Occasionally, I ask them, share with me what worked well in your lesson. Now, that starts them off. People want to start from the good things. And the last thing probably to put in mind when I begin giving feedback is condition. If you're giving feedback, then be mindful of the health condition of the teacher. Probably the teacher is unwell. If the teacher is unwell, find out, because you want to be able to talk to this teacher. So it's important to occasionally be sure that the teacher is okay, mentally, physically, spiritually, they're okay to be able to talk to you. Because for me, feedback is a conversation. It is not one-sided.
Before we end, here is something for you to think about. What practical advice would you give to a school leader who is about to start doing lesson observations and wants to know how to give feedback?
When we are giving feedback, we should communicate to the teachers that they can also give us feedback. Occasionally, we think it is only us, the school leaders, who should be giving feedback. It should Giving feedback should be both ways. And so when I was having one of the teachers who was new at one point, the teacher walked in, it was a madam, a female, and she was new in our institution. So she found when we had created a routine of giving feedback. And so one day what I did, I asked her to give me feedback on what she thinks about me, on what she thinks about how is my management, how am I doing my things. I invited her to one of my lessons, and I asked her at the end, tell me what you felt about my lesson. Now, when I walked into her lesson to observe, she was very friendly. She was willing to. So what I wanted to say is that let's begin by showing people that yes, we can give feedback and they can as well give us feedback. It's never one way.
In the next video, we will learn how to build your practice of having effective feedback conversations. Thank you for watching.